friends, it's time for stories on Wednesday, October 21st. Make sure your body is ready to listen. Your eyes are looking at the screen, your ears are listening, your mouths are quiet, your hands aren't playing with anything. Our first book today is called Pumpkin Day. The author is Candace Ransom and it was illustrated by Erica Meza. Sunny day, pack a lunch. In the treetop squirrels munch. Scarecrows wave, open latch. Through the gate to the pumpkin patch. Bumpy cart. Ponies run. Baby goats have all the fun. Cornfields here, red barns there. Then pumpkins everywhere. Jump right in the orange sea. Giant pumpkin just for me. Rolling bowl, watch it go. Thump, 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 then, uh-oh. We found yours, what a prize. Little pumpkin more my size. Take a spoon, scoop out goo. Make a face, yikes, looks like you. On our porch, yellow light, ready for a spooky night. Orange moon in the sky, big and round like pumpkin pie. That was a fun book to rhyme with you. Now I have a little song. I'll sure need your help for it. I'll sing it the first time through. Then I'll teach the words to you. 10 little firefighters. 10 little firefighters sleeping in their beds. Ding went the bell and down the pole they slid. They raced to the fire and put out all the flames. Then the 10 little firefighters went back to sleep again. This time I'll sing a line, you echo it back to me. 10 little firefighters. 10 little firefighters sleeping in their beds. Ding went the bell and down the pole they slid. They raced to the fire and put out all the flames. Then the 10 little firefighters went back to bed again. Great, let's sing it together this time. 10 little firefighters. 10 little firefighters sleeping in their beds. Ding went the bell and down the pole they slid. They raced to the fire and put out all the flames. Then the 10 little firefighters went back to bed again. That was a fun song to sing with you. Let's finish up with one more book called The Squirrels Who Squabbled. Do you know what it means to squabble? Look at their faces. Yeah, they look pretty unhappy with each other, maybe even annoyed. Squabble is another word for little fights. Lots of people squabble with their siblings, with their brothers and sisters. Let's see what these squirrels have to squabble about. In a towering forest where summer had been, the leaves turned to gold as a cold wind blew in. And as autumn arrived with the sky raging red, the sleepiest creatures got ready for bed. While up in a tree swung a flighty young squirrel, who everyone knew is Spontaneous Sorrel. Spontaneous means you do just random things all the time. You're up for anything. Now, most foresty folks had seen to their needs through the plentiful months of mushrooms and seeds. They built up their stores so they'd all be well fed through the frosting of winter that glittered ahead. But Sorrel, he lived in the now and the here. He'd adventured and partied his way through the year. So his cupboards were empty, his hollow was bare. He hadn't a mouthful of food anywhere. But wait, what was that over there? Take a look. A single lone pine cone wedged in a nook. He squealed with delight, and for very good reason, for inside were the very last nuts of the season. But Cyril wasn't alone. There were more hungry eyes. Yes, Plan Ahead Bruce had his eyes on the side. So Bruce likes to do things far in advance. I'm kind of like that. Though he'd gather fresh treasures of every sort, Bruce was convinced he was one pine cone short. I simply must have it, he wistfully cried, as he dreamt of the fresh, juicy pine nuts inside. So as Cyril set off on his way to the ground, Bruce, he was also last pine cone bound. They sprinted and scurried with no time to gamble. They scratched at the bark in their scampering ramble. But their panic and haste shook the tips of the spruce, and the pine cone, it trembled, and then it came loose. Both squirrels gave chase at a lightning pace. This was the start of a wild, nutty race. It's mine, shouted Cyril. No, mine, howled Bruce. You don't stand a chance. Give it up. It's no use. I'm hungry, cried Cyril. This cone is not yours. Stay back, shouted Bruce. This cone's for my stores. It boinged over bushes and flew through the air. It binged on the nose of a slumbering bear. It bounced over boulders, then came to a stop, then teetered and wobbled and quivered and plop! Both squirrels followed. Oh, the water was fast. Would they learn that they needed each other at last? But each was intent on how he could win, so they didn't quite notice a bird swooping in. What do you think is going to happen? Will Cyril get it? Will Bruce get it? Or will the bird get the pine cone? Let's keep reading and find out. Cyril and Bruce, they watched in dismay as their cone disappeared up and away. So who got it? The bird. Come back, shouted Cyril. There are nuts, exclaimed Bruce, but all hope was gone. It was simply no use. And meanwhile they drifted right up to the ledge. Greed, it was driving them over the edge. Cyril and Bruce, they had taken a fall. They were paying the price for wanting it all. They'd squabbled their chances to team up and share. Would their nutty young hope simply end in despair? Is it all over for them? I hope not. Bruised and bedraggled, they swept past dry land. Cyril grabbed at a branch with a trembling hand. Catching Bruce with the other, he heaved and he huffed and pulled him to safety with panting and puffs. They dragged themselves up with sputtering wriggles. Then Bruce looked at Cyril and exploded in giggles. How silly we are, he managed to mutter. How greedy I've been, he proclaimed with a splutter. We shall change from today, may the squabbling cease. We should celebrate, sing, we're both in one piece. From that day and forward, they made a great pair. They would gather together and found they could share. Yes, Cyril and Bruce, they knew in the end, the best thing to share is a laugh with your friend. I hope you enjoyed that story, and maybe we can think a little bit about trying not to squabble and instead be kind to one another. Bye, friends.